Let's flip it. Hi everyone, welcome to Talkin Chalk. I'm Beck. I'm an assistant principal in Southwest Sydney, and for the next few weeks I get to relieve as principal, which I'm really excited about. But it's not going to stop me from creating content for this YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, welcome. All the subscription buttons and everything are in the description below to my social media if you want to go follow me there. It's all educational stuff. I don't spam or send you anything. If you want a resource though that I've mentioned, please just contact me via direct message and I'll always send it through to you. Happy to chat if you've got any questions. I'm always here to help. Everything I share on this channel is just my tips and advice based on my experiences or experiences I've shared with people that I work with. So it's not the be all and end all of everything. However, it has worked for me and hopefully it'll work for you. So today I'm going to be talking about, I want to say flipped learning, but it was modified flipped learning. So really what I wanted to do was engage my students more in their learning, and I was really intrigued by the concept of flipped learning. So if you're not sure about what flipped learning means, there is heaps of research out there, tons of stuff if you Google it, but the modified version is you're flipping your classroom, which sounds confusing. So the idea being is that you utilize any kind of like a tutorial video or concept or reading or anything like that that kids do prior to coming into the classroom for that particular content lesson. So if I was doing something in algebra or whatever, they would go and look at this content that you provide them. So it's a direct link that you give the kids, whether it's a video or a reading or an activity, and they do that prior to coming into the classroom. And then in the classroom, that's kind of the deep learning that happens after they've had that orientation to the concept or the focus that you're working on. Now, I had a year 2 class when I was really intrigued in doing this, and I knew that I wouldn't be able to do it to the fullest extent. And I wasn't even sure how I wanted to do it, which KLA I wanted to do it for, if it would be a particular focus. So I kind of started making my own videos, pretty much because there wasn't much other content out there that really targeted my curriculum. So for those of you who haven't followed me before, I'm in Australia, I'm in the New South Wales public education system. So we follow the New South Wales curriculum, which is derived from our national curriculum as well. So the content out there, especially when we've had new syllabus documents come out, hasn't been updated. The syllabus documents have, the content that has been out there hasn't been updated. So if I found videos online, it was either from India or Britain or America, and it didn't use the same strategies. It wasn't exactly what I needed. And quite frankly, the kids had a hard time connecting with that content. So I thought, no, I'd make my own. So I had to get up the guts to put myself on camera. And this was an idea that I guess I've always kind of had in the back of my mind. I thought it would be really cool to be able to create your own videos for your class, because then you could really target needs. But I guess I didn't have the guts to do it. Haha, funny, I know I'm on, YouTube now and everything, but I didn't have the guts to do it. I was inspired, however, by one particular person who is on YouTube. Most of you know Eddie Wu. If you don't know Eddie Wu, here's a couple of shots.
One of the topics I wanted to do, but I don't think we'll have enough time, is the history of maths. And it's just a history of people arguing, right? But we don't really encounter that much in normal maths. It's kind of like, there's a right answer. If you don't get that answer, you're wrong. End of story, right? So we don't experience the argument and the discussion very much because we learn the parts of maths that have already been settled.
I'm Eddie Wu, and I teach high school mathematics in Sydney, Australia. Every lesson that I produce is recorded. I started doing this several years ago to help a sick student. Now, 5 years later, there's more than 100,000 people who are subscribed to watch the videos every time they come out. And when you look at all of the content that I've produced, they've been watched over 8 million times.
So you'll see that what Eddie does though isn't exactly flipped learning. What he does is he records the lessons that he has in his class, and he did this because he had a student who was quite ill and couldn't attend classes. So he just used his phone, videoed it, and he put it on YouTube so that he could access it, and now it's amazing. It's huge. And you'll see that the strategies he uses in his classroom aren't just talk and chalk. He does very innovative things in his classroom as well. The videoing part isn't the innovative part. It's what he does with his kids that's innovative. But the fact that he was able to, have the guts to video himself and put it out there, and other people are benefiting from it, I thought, you know what? I can do that for my kids. I can get the guts to do that. So I started making a couple of videos, and I found that I really needed to focus on something, otherwise I would just be making too much work for myself. So I focused on maths for a couple of reasons. One, it's an area I feel I'm very strong in teaching. Another reason is that I utilize the targeted early numeracy program in my classroom as well. And those, short, sharp, focused activities were really easy to put into video. And because I knew as well, this would be a resource the kids could constantly go back to. It wouldn't matter what content area we were looking at any particular time. This would be something they would be able to utilize at any time. So I thought, I'm going to try it this way and see how we go. So that's when I created the kids YouTube channel Clever Pickles. And Clever Pickles I started at the beginning of 2017, last year. It feels so much longer ago. And I started uploading to that. So if you haven't seen my channel, I'll give you a glimpse of what it looks like. Hi Clever Pickles. Hi Clever Pickles. Today, hi Clever Pickles. Our answers should be 2,127, then 3,709. Ready? Five, 6, 1. If I told you this domino has 8, which domino do you think it is? Is it the 4 and 4? Is it the 5 and 3? Or is it the 6 and 2? Which one do you think I have? My favorite, double! So you can see it's basic videos. Each video goes for about 5 to 10 minutes, and it was all very much targeted at my Year 2 class and their needs. And the key focus in all of my videos was the vocab that I'm using, the growth mindset factor in terms of achieving your own goals and being able to differentiate based on where you're working towards. And that was dialogue that I had set up in my classroom with my kids. So that was connected to what we were doing in the classroom. So, for example, if it was an activity that involved dice and the kids would have to select dice, if they were in the classroom with me, I know which kids I'm targeting for certain things. So I would say, you've got a 10-sided die, you've got a 20-sided die, yada, yada. And at least at that point when they start, I'm starting them at the point that I think, based on my data and assessment, they should be working at. But as the week goes on, they would be like, can I try a 20-sided die now? Can I try a bigger one? And at home, they could do that as well. So if they were using, all it used was playing cards, dominoes, dice, and a lot of things was just, pencil and paper. So these were things they could easily connect to at home. So I would put the videos up on a Sunday. So if they wanted to, they could watch it at home before coming in on Monday morning. And at first, not many of them did. It would be something that we would do at school. They would watch the video at school. So it's me on a screen in the classroom while I'm standing there and the kids watching. And I tell you what, they were so engaged with watching me on a screen for a number of reasons. Mainly because my teacher is on YouTube. This is exciting. I could turn off the lights. They would focus on the screen. I could turn up the volume or turn it down if I wanted to get that focus. And then once it was done, I could get them to reflect back to me on what it is we're doing today. What's the activity? And they would always soak it in. There was never a time where I had to rewatch it or re-explain it. I might just have to sort of really focus in on a couple of points that I may not have been clear about in the video. And that came down to, my experience and how I developed as I went on. And then they would go and do the activity. Then they'd go home that night and ask, can I watch this video? So, the benefit there straight up was just that straight away higher level of engagement. And being able to connect what they were learning in that particular context and then at home as well. So I'm starting to build that connection between school and home. Really, the best benefit of using this was that it was, it was personalized. I could control the content. It was very student-centric. It was not about me teaching something. It was about me showing them something that they were going to do. It wasn't a lecture. It was a demonstration more than anything else, with the intent that they would do something with it straight away in the classroom. It was very much data-driven, utilizing the continuum last year, the numeracy continuum. you know, plotting my kids on there, and I could see where they were, and I knew which ones I could focus on and target. And in that video, I was differentiating. They don't necessarily know it, but the different ways I was doing it, you know, I would be doing it in the video. I could integrate it anywhere I wanted as well, and being able to have it on video like that, I was able to demonstrate a lot of my mathematical think alouds. What are my thought processes when I'm actually completing this task or game that was in there? So I was able to still role model and everything, but the good part is when it's on video like that, they can't interrupt. So in the classroom, when I'm modeling something on the board or with a game on the floor and I'm trying to do my think aloud, Miss, can I go to the toilet? Oh, it's a 10. Oh, he's touching me. When a video is on, they focus so much and you don't have that same interruption that happens. And this is, remember, it's only a 5 to 10 minute video. So it's not like they're sitting there watching a video all day, every day. This was just in my maths that I was doing this. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes that I've got up here. One thing the kids really took away from this was just pride in it. So the name Clever Pickles, that's what I call my students. That's like my nickname. Some kids call them their Vegemites and, you know, Smarty Beans or whatever. They're my Clever Pickles. So by calling it that, they had automatic, you know, connectedness to it. You know, we're the Clever Pickles. When I say, hi Clever Pickles, I'm talking to them. And I know other teachers have used this channel as well. So I don't know if they've made that connection that I'm talking to the students, that the Clever Pickles are you. But that was the intent behind it. So, I mean, the driving factor I had changed over the year that I was using this last year with my year 2 kids. So I'm not on class this year. I am going into sort of varied roles for the rest of the year, but where I'm supervising, I want to create more content for older kids now. So stage 2 and stage 3 is what I'd like to focus on if I can work it in. So that's kind of the goal. So, hey, if you go over to Clever Pickles, see if there's any new content coming out in the next few weeks. But, you know, it was very teacher-centered when I started, because it was about me learning more about the flipped learning methodology and recognizing straight away I wouldn't be able to do it strictly to the definition of what flipped learning is, but I kind of wanted to modify it and use it in a way that would suit me and my kids. So that was my focus. And then as I kind of got more comfortable with it and focused on my niche, which was the maths, it became more learner-centered. And as that drove on, it became more learner driven. And, you know, kids then wanted to film themselves doing games and they wanted to create that connection. And the biggest connection of all was when it came to Education Week Open Day. I said to the kids, what do you want to do with parents when they come in? They wanted to demonstrate the maths games that they had been learning from Clever Pickles. So they got into pairs. Some kids wanted to work on their own, that's fine. And they picked activities from Clever Pickles that they would then demonstrate to their parents when the parents came in for that day. They made signs, they wrote instructions, they had to collect all the resources that they needed, they had to collaborate and work with other kids in the classroom and communicate about their needs for their activity, because, you know, there wasn't necessarily enough cards or dots or dominoes or whatever it was to share with everyone, and they'd have to decide who would get what to be able to do their activity. Some did a modified version of the activity as well. And some of the kids even got out different types of dice so they could do different versions with their parents as well. And it was great. We had so many parents in the classroom. It was all student led. I just stood back and took photos pretty much for the day. And the parents were so engaged that they weren't just going to their own child's activity. They were going to all the other activities as well to participate because they really wanted to have a go. And then the kids would go, no, that's too easy for you. I'm going to give you a different dice now. And then they would challenge them to make it harder. And you could see the parents actually concentrating to participate in this. And then some of the parents would kind of go, oh, is this the game that you were watching on YouTube? Miss, you know, when Miss was on YouTube? And the kids would go, yeah. And that would kind of be another gauge as well for the parents to step in a little bit more and watch the videos too and participate with the kids too. And the feedback that I got from parents was just so positive. They liked the fact that they could do it anywhere. You go to Auntie's house and put on one of the games and the kids could play it. They could share it with their cousins. The fact that it was differentiated means that they could do an easier version or a harder version, you know, with the age of the kids in the house, and challenge themselves. The whole focus being on personal best. You know, I want to challenge myself. I want to try a harder version. And, you know, the benefit for me being able to have it on YouTube as well isn't about, you know, getting subscribers or anything like that. It's about accessibility. The fact that you can add subtitles on there if you want to. It's very time consuming, so I didn't. But I mean, if you've got a class with a student that has that need, you've got the capacity to do that. You know, being online means you can access it anywhere. You don't have to have a PC, you don't have to have a laptop, you can just have a phone. Anyone can access YouTube. I know it's hard in the classroom for kids to do that. So if I wanted my video to be accessible via, you know, Google Classroom or something, I would just use the original original video file, have it saved, and then I could upload it that way to Google Classroom. You know, it was professional learning for me with colleagues as well. I know a lot of people did end up using the videos with their class, and they'd send me pictures of the modified ways that they do it, which is great because I want to see other ways that people do it. I don't want people just, you know, necessarily copying exactly what I'm doing, thinking that that's the best way to do it. If your kids do it a different way and it's better, go for it. That's exactly what I want people to be doing. But just building that connection. And it was really strange, the things that the kids connected with in the videos. So, I mean, first and foremost, the connection is me. They recognize me, they know me. I'm the big connection for them because I'm their teacher. But you know, when it was videos that was just my hands, they recognize my voice. You know, they know my accent, they know the intonations and slang that I use and the way that I articulate words, and you know, their nickname, Clever Pickles. They recognized when I was videoing in the classroom, so they knew if it was the whiteboard or if it was, you know, the table that I was filming on, or if, even the carpet. They recognized the carpet if I was, you know, putting cards onto the carpet. Even my hands. So if it was a video that didn't even show my face, it was just all down on the ground. Like, they recognized my rings. They knew if I changed my nail polish color, and they'd say things like that. And it just shows you the connectedness that you have with your students too. The resources as well. So you guys would have seen my Kmart videos before, my giant playing cards that I got from Kmart, which are awesome. They knew if I was filming with those because, you know, it's the size of my head, and I'd get excited saying, I've got new playing cards, guys, and just being able to use them in the classroom. The content itself, though, was the biggest connection. Being able to go, oh, that's what we did in the video this week, or that's what you did in your other video last week. Or that they would ask me, hey, miss, can we do a video on this one next week? Just building that deeper connection there as well. So ultimately that created I guess another layer of engagement for them where they wanted to do it. And, you know, it got to that point where, so maths would come in after a play break, and they would be lining up ready to go after that play break. They wanted to come inside the classroom and get started. They wanted to know what the new Clever Pickles video was for that week as well. So, you know, their focus was there. They were very driven. And ultimately the best result was that they loved maths. They loved being mathematicians, and that's how they referred to themselves. They were a mathematician. And they knew that if they weren't strong, as they called it in mathematics, they had that growth mind to say, I'm going to get better. I'm getting better. And they could recognize when they were getting better as well. And I would have that feedback interaction with them as well, using learning intentions and success criteria about what they were focusing on, what they were working towards. So that was all embedded throughout this. And of course, I had other things going on as well. So these videos did not take up every session all the time. It was the beginning on a Monday, we watched the video, we did the activity, and then Tuesday, if they wanted to watch it again, we could, to just review what we were doing, and then that was it. They could watch it at home as much as they wanted, but then that was it for the classroom. It just created that higher level, though, of motivation to be, you know, doing great things in maths. I'm just trying to think of what else came into it. I'm just looking at my notes here. So I spoke about the open day, and I think that was the main thing there. So, I mean, if you're keen on doing more with flipped learning, that's a modified version that I did. And you don't have to video yourself. The benefit of videoing yourself or creating videos yourself is just that you can drive that content, very specific content. And there's lots of software out there where you can, screen capture. So, I mean, you can use your whiteboard to put things up there, and then it will screen capture what you're doing. You can use photos, videos, and then, put your voice on top of it. You can just find content out there that's really good and target that and tell the kids that that's what they need to use. So if it's Google Classroom, you know, Friday afternoon or whatever, you send them home with the link for what you want them to watch at some point over the weekend before Monday comes along, and then give it a go. But I mean, just the benefits of making your own made the kids so engaged. And, you know, you think the kids might be silly and put silly comments on there or whatever, and I'm sure there's going to be one or two that do it. You know, you can control that. You can delete those sorts of things if you want to do it on YouTube. But for me, it's been very positive so far. I've definitely enjoyed it and I want to do more with it. And ultimately it led to this channel, Talk and Chalk, where instead of just sharing with kids, I get to share with teachers as well. So I'm very appreciative of all the very positive support that I've received, all the subscribers and everything, lovely people, all the messages that I've had have always been very, very positive. I really do appreciate it. It's always nice to know that what I'm sharing is helpful for people and that you find it beneficial. So I'm going to finish rambling on there at that point, and I'm going to put my button down here. So if you haven't subscribed, you just click on that to subscribe. One of my other videos at the top there, I'll chuck a maths one on there just to make it interesting, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks guys. Bye.